Fans, are we ready for top 8 here at LTC? Then let's waste time no further. Introducing the team standing to my right. They're the number 4 seed in the tournament. They're ready to put you in the blender. Give it up for the team of Balloon, Lost, Boopy, and GG Dance. This is Smoothie. Might have just realized the camera's this way, but guess what? The crowd's this way, so I'm gonna be talking to them. Introducing now the number 1 seed in the tournament. They are inevitable. They could be unstoppable, but it's on them to prove it. Fans, I give to you the team of Bran, Ice, Biscuit, and Bagel. This is Starburst. Keep the energy going one time as we introduce your top 8 casters. Give it up for Rissa and K-Bot.
Thank you, Stu, for getting the crowd excited. And look, we were talking a little bit about Starburst, right? It's going to be quite a challenge to knock them off, to say the least. But if one of the teams is looking to do it at this tournament, it's almost assuredly Smoothie.
I know. That's what I was part of seeding this and helping, being one of the seeders for this, and just looking at, who could be the contender against Starburst. Smoothie is absolutely one of those teams that can be the contender, and seeing these two face off in winter semis, I think this is going to be a really good set.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this one, especially because I haven't gotten the chance to see much of Smoothie play, really.
Oh, okay.
So far this event, I haven't been running around doing things, but I've been more focused on Sonder, or been more focused on elsewhere. But look, I mean, these are also a handful of players that have played and had breakout performances at LANs in the past, right? Hiya and Lost playing on Blush last LTC. Dan the Man with, I think it was a Red Sun pickup, in effect, at Big House this past year. So these players are on the come up, especially at these LAN tournaments, and we'll see how they can perform here. We'll see if they can make Starburst squirm as the Giants start getting revved up.
All right, so looking at these comps here, and we are headed back to Splatoon Flounder Heights, by the way, and taking a look at these comps, no range coming out from the side of Smoothie, though Starburst having Ice on the ballpoint this time. They're going to be able to try and utilize those ink jets a lot here. Both teams starting out here at the zone. Zone's neutral right now. Let's see who can get the upper hand first.
And look, even if there aren't any long-range weapons, you still have to imagine that this Carbon Roller can put in considerable work if set up properly. And already, we're seeing Lost go in here a little bit, getting one onto Bagel and starting to continue to move forward with the rest of Smoothie. They're going to be the ones to take the first cap here, and Brand's kind of awkwardly on the back side, pops the Booyah Bomb just to stall things out. But what notably Brand does, drags these members away, and now the engagement for Starburst is going to be easier to their near zone.
That's a good point to bring up. Now that the members of Smoothie had to turn back and look at Brands, the rest of the members are Starburst are pushing up onto their ramp. But look at on the ramp, Lost was right there just holding them off as that much longer. Smoothie is able to get their points all the way down to 53, and Starburst is really squirming here as they're trying to figure out to at least get to their zone to neutralize this.
There we go. Inkjet comes out. Biscuit and Brand starting to move up here as well. But already, met with a Crab Tank on the other side of the map. Here comes the Ink Strikes as the counter engagement starts to come forward here for Smoothie. They're going to continue to build a presence, and now Starburst caught off guard once again. They don't get control of both the zones here, but Biscuit able to come up with 2 back the other direction. Shows exactly what this guy can do.
Yeah, Biscuit just doing the Biscuit things that he does. Able to take on, what was that, 3 members of Smoothie at once, takes down 2, and stalls enough time. Actually, they were able to get a tri-strike on the other zone paired with Biscuit's Booyah Bomb. That was able to cap both of the zones, and now Starburst in control of the zones here, and now it's going to be their turn to hold off Smoothie from coming into the zones.
Ink Strikes coming out here. Brand forced it back on away. And again, this engagement might be easier on the near zone for Smoothie, but Starburst really wants to hold on to their own zone. Now they're going to start to commit some of their specials. You see the strikes come out. You see the Inkjet here come out as well, keeping Smoothie at an arm's length away. And again, 2-down situation. This is the part where the shorter range composition might struggle here a little bit on Flounder Heights. It's going to be difficult for them to actually find the full engagement that they're going to need. And Rissa, if they want to, they're going to need to do it fast.
They are. The lead now swapped swapping over to Starburst. They're taking that lead past that 30 marker that Smoothie has. And as we see Starburst holding this right side, Biscuit using that Booyah Bomb to just keep holding that area. Smoothie able to finally push up and at least tries to start capping their zone. But I mean, this is completely flipped now. Starburst is just not letting Smoothie get close at all. And you can see they're not pushing up very far. Starburst is just sitting back, throwing out specials, throwing out bombs, and using this aggression that Biscuit does so well. Through all of that, Starburst able to completely turn around that game and take game 1.
And I'll tell you what, I mean, look, Starburst, once they get a hold of a zone, it is almost impossible to try to rip it from their hand. Literally, you're going to need to do it over their dead bodies because they will continue to hold onto these things, cycle around their specials so well, even when they're not playing the double crab thing that they might be known for more so. In this case, playing for that double machine, continuing to stall things out. Again, they recognize that the win condition for these short-range weapons is to get Lost set up on that carbon roller. If they can't do that with their specials because they get engaged on first, they're probably going to end up struggling. And once Starburst got that high ground advantage, they really showed that. They were able to keep them continuing to do that the whole way through there.
Absolutely. You can see that Starburst just knew, okay, we're just going to sit back, hold this, not feed too far forward. And if anything, they were going to let someone feed it. We saw that it was Biscuit there. Biscuit able to just push forward to get picks with that machine. I love the way that Biscuit too just plays around the specials that Starburst has there.
Yes.
And that, I mean, that worked out so beautifully for them. That just allowed them to hold that and just completely KO it.
I don't know how Biscuit is just like this gifted at the game. It's actually crazy. Like this guy would just stare in the face of 3v1s, stand strong, and like get 2 of them for sure. And then the last member's like, oh crap, I'm next. Right, and then they're forced to run away. Yeah. It's like, what are they supposed to do, right? But that's exactly what Biscuit does, and it happens time and time again. He was literally in that one instance backed into a corner, and still like just came away with it regardless. I will never understand like whatever daily routine he does. Apparently we need eat Wheaties. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, Biscuit continues to show why he's one of the best slayers in the game right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely love to know what the Biscuit secret is because maybe Biscuit just has biscuits. No, I don't know.
Biscuits. I mean, you could probably make a meal out of everything. You literally can make a meal out of their team.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
It's literally just what they have for breakfast every morning, probably. Except it would be weird to just have ice instead of like iced water or something.
Yeah.
It's just, you just get ice.
Yeah.
That's all you get, or some ice cubes and maybe some things. Here we go, though. Now heading on over here to tower control on Sturgeon Shipyard, and there is a Stamper out on the map for Biscuit.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen Biscuit play that Stamper. So, of course, Stamper in the meta right now, really, really good, aggressive weapon. And no range coming out from Starburst this time. So they're going to be playing a lot more aggressively, I feel like, you know, utilizing that double crab, having their aggressive players play through that. But once again, looking at this game, Smoothie, again, having this really, really good opening. It seems like they just kind of let Starburst use their specials, and then they push in really aggressively into those and just make sure that they get the upper hand first off. So Smoothie here getting on this first checkpoint and using specials to make sure that they secure it and are able to slowly start pushing forward.
Tell you what, the team that comes up with just more overall of that presence, more of that tempo, especially when there's a carbon roller on the game, as it's Smoothie right now, catches Starburst a little bit off guard, and now it's going to translate into a first checkpoint here. Looks like though Starburst is going to be able to stabilize. You notice Bagel with that crab tank on those grades. It's going to be real difficult to actually try to challenge with anything much at all here out of Smoothie, and that push will stop. But down to that 43-point arc is decent here to start off for Smoothie. I want to see if they can do that again.
Yeah, that is absolutely going to be the tricky part for Smoothie, as we saw in that first game. Once Starburst got a hold of the objective and just pushed forward and didn't let Smoothie come towards them, this could easily happen again, as now Starburst is the team that's in control of the objective. They are able to take down one member of Smoothie, get through this first checkpoint, and now with 2 members down on the side of Smoothie, Smoothie is going to have to really figure out how to regroup here if they want to put a stop to this tower push.
They're going to need to get their Booyah Bomb. They're going to need to get those strikes real fast here, but already 2 members are starting to go right toward that tower. It's another 3-down situation, but it looks like they were able to come away with 2 of the members of Starburst. Still, though, those members of Starburst will be providing the jumps into the tower here, and already they're nearly all the way through the second second checkpoint. There's the Crab Tank coming out of Bagel here once again, keeping the members of Smoothie at arm's length away. Biscuit now dives into the Zipcaster, but it looks like the cleanup comes through. The engagement for Smoothie happens exactly when there are only 2 members around the tower, and while Biscuit's in the spawn, it's Smoothie that takes back control of the tower.
Yeah, Smoothie able to at least put a stop to that push that Starburst had. Starburst, of course, able to get their score. Nice Inkzuka pick there from Lost, by the way. But yeah, Smoothie able to at least put a stop to that push that Starburst had. And now as their team does go down, they have to once again figure out how to regroup. This is the really tricky part for them. They just need to sit back and get their specials in order to figure out how to stop the tower. But it's really, really tricky with the synergy and aggressive that Starburst has.
Gonna need to find a way to do it again. You see Bagel start to move forward here, trying to get that snowball going, but just actually didn't have the time to fully set things up. Now Dan tries to challenge, but gets taken down in the process. I did see Lost go up here earlier, but looks like didn't quite have an angle to try to dive on things. Now Biscuit once again behind everyone, and here comes Starburst roaring towards the base again. Ice goes down on top of the tower here, and it looks like Smoothie might be able to clean up, but now 2 for 2 right now on the map. It looks like Lost able to get taken down as well, and there's the wipeout that comes through for Starburst. It looks like a little bit of a panic Smoothie here at the end of the game. Will they be able to touch the tower? Doesn't quite look like it, and Starburst is going to take game 2.
Starburst finally able to slowly but surely there completely KO that. It seemed like, you know, they weren't trying to rush that necessarily. They were just trying to get that end game of getting a complete KO, and it worked out really good for them. They were able to once again, once they get that aggressive momentum that they have and play together really nicely, able to just completely KO that.
The team that's able to slow down the pace and play more methodically is Starburst, right? And the second that they start to find that groove, they're going to start cruising on along. Now, how do you disrupt that? By a team that plays incredibly fast and aggressively, right? If they, again, we've seen it actually multiple times come out here of Smoothie. They've shown promise in some of the early stages of some of these games. When there's nothing to lose at the beginning of the game, they're doing fantastic. I'm wondering if it's a little bit of a nerves thing. As that time starts to dwindle, as the pressure starts to mount of the individual game, they might start to feel a little bit off, feel a little bit concerned. Do I start doing this? Do I start doing that? Where do I go? And all of that time, they're losing precious seconds of what they could be doing in terms of actually finding those critical picks, disrupting the momentum that Starburst has in their slower pace.
Yeah.
And so if they're able to fully find those engagements, I imagine we're going to see Smoothie come together here. But again, it's a matter, we've seen them do it once initially. Can they find the repeat performance here as well? That's what I'm looking for, and we're already getting into this one. We're heading back to Rainmaker and Undertow Spillway. Yes, folks, this is the same set of maps that we just saw, but that's because there are 2 different rounds, and other teams will be repeating. But Biscuit comes out with a Stamper again, and now Bagel over to the Nautilus this time around as well. A little bit more of range here coming out for Starburst. Again, recognizing they want to slow the game down a little more, I think.
Yeah, definitely wanting to slow the game down a little bit more. And Ice, of course, having that crab splash is going to utilize that as the range and able to help push forward the aggressive players on Starburst. Smoothie now not able to have the amazing opening that they have had the past 2 games, and Starburst is going to be the team that actually grabs the Rainmaker, takes it, and they are instantly pushing through this first checkpoint. So Starburst not letting go of this momentum that they have, and they have already cleared this first checkpoint.
Here comes the Zip Cast. The Soda's also out for Starburst. They're looking to try to get a little bit more off after this as well. And the second that they get a little bit even further past this first checkpoint, the more insurance they have. But already it's a 3-down situation, as it looks like Ice, Bagel, and Biscuit were all infiltrating up over the enemy's Slick. Boopy's out with a Crab Tank, and now Lost is forced to clean up here at the very end. But now it's only Lost that's up. Maybe he'll try to buy a little bit of time, as now Dan comes in. Biscuit jumps in, finds that one. But again, this Rainmaker in a very dangerous position. Starburst sharking, waiting for the time to strike here as Smoothie continues to try to panic, but now they burn their strikes here. They're not able to come up with many splats, and it's just Starburst taking this right on down to that pedestal.
Man, that was a very dominant performance there from Starburst for Game 3. They seem like they have that map down. They knew exactly what positions they needed to take. They did not hesitate that at all.
And look, I know this Smoothie team has promise, right? It might be a little bit difficult to see it there at times, and that's because of how just fantastic Starburst is, right? But again, I genuinely believe that if Smoothie can try to calm their nerves a little more, play a little less anxious and scrambled, and just start coordinating things a little bit better across the board, they might have the opportunity there to find some of those critical picks, disrupt some of the momentum from Starburst here. But again, like, that's what Starburst is so good at, right? They're so good at finding the pace of the game that they want to play, set themselves up for success, and working off of one another there as well.
I was thinking something very similar along those lines. I think, Smoothie just needs to. It seems like they have really good aggression when they are able to get pushes going, but just the defense, just sit back, get your specials, and make sure you play off of those. I think that's exactly what they need to do. And maybe moving forward, if they end up fighting Starburst again, maybe they'll be able to figure that out and be able to utilize that if they are up against Starburst again.
Well, I will say it's a long road for Smoothie to get back to facing Starburst again, because like we were talking about earlier, so many good teams are vying for that second place, right? You think of Smoothie up there, you think of his Express, you think of the Espresso team, you think of like Saunder might be trying to go for that as well. Last Resort, I still haven't mentioned, right? Last Resort, by the way, who's probably a little angry after losing a match earlier. All these teams coming back for this, and again, I think it's going to shake up for what will be an incredibly interesting lower half of the bracket, even as some of these winners matches might be going to the favor of Starburst pretty quickly.